Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with something new I'm calling overrated and overhated. I'm just getting over COVID, and now that my voice is back and I'm able to talk without coughing, I have something to say. I found both of these steelbooks locally today, Terrifier 2 and Halloween Ends. It's fitting because these two are sort of connected to me. Not only were they released around the same time, their Blu-ray releases were released on the same day. These two limited edition steelbooks eluded me last week, but I was able to find both of them today. But now, as for the point of this video, overrated and overhated. I want to start by saying, yes, I know, everyone is entitled to their own opinions. That's fine. And I'm glad people are loving Terrifier 2 as much as they are. What I'm not happy about is how much hate Halloween Ends is receiving. But it's not just that. It's the fact that there are people who praise Terrifier 2 as a masterpiece, and at the same time call Halloween Ends trash, or garbage, or a dumpster fire, or any of those same repeating descriptions. Now, I'm also not saying you can't feel that way, although I definitely disagree. But to say Terrifier 2 is a masterpiece and Halloween Ends is those things, well, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, but it is, and I'm tired of pretending that it isn't. I'm glad you all like Terrifier 2. I like it as well, but I don't see it as a masterpiece. And I see Halloween Ends as a much better film by far, objectively and subjectively. It's weird to me that a lot of the issues people have with Halloween Ends are also featured in Terrifier 2, but they don't have any problem with that. Halloween Ends, we know, introduces a new partner for Michael Myers in Corey Cunningham. But Terrifier 2 also introduces a new partner for Art the Clown, the Ghost Girl. Halloween Ends follows a coherent story, and if you've been paying attention throughout the Blumhouse trilogy, it's so cleverly written, and it all makes sense. Terrifier 2, on the other hand, as entertaining as it is a convoluted mess. There were multiple alternate endings written for Halloween Ends, and some of them even filmed. But they decided to go with just one. Meanwhile, Terrifier 2 seems to have no end in sight. It's a series of false endings that eventually results in a 2-hour and 18-minute slasher film. Or is it a fantasy with power swords? I don't know. You tell me. People take issue with the believability of Halloween Ends. Why is Michael so weak now, even though he's a 65-year-old man who was badly injured in Halloween Kills and has been living in a sewer for 4 years? Meanwhile, they have no problem with not only Art, but the final girl, Sienna, dying in Terrifier 2 and then coming back to life. Listen, I want to repeat this, and I want to make it very clear. I'm glad everyone loves Terrifier 2, or most people anyway. And I'm glad there are people hailing it as a masterpiece. That's not the thing I take issue with. It's the people that hail it as a masterpiece and say Halloween Ends is one of the worst horror films they've ever seen. I'm sorry, but I cannot, and I refuse to take anyone who says both of those things seriously. It's absolutely fine to prefer one over the other. Most people prefer Terrifier 2 over Halloween Ends. But to say Terrifier 2 is one of the greatest horror films in recent years, and Halloween Ends is one of the worst, is completely insane. Like I always say, there is a difference between saying something is your least favorite and saying something is the worst. If you can't see that Halloween Ends is objectively a better film, then, like I said, I can't take you seriously. You might find Terrifier 2 more entertaining. That's fine. But objectively better? A masterpiece? Come on. Even if you consider it a masterpiece, you can't say that Halloween Ends is trash. I haven't seen a movie get as much hate as Halloween Ends has in recent memory. And I know he won't mind me bringing him up as well, but Jason and I talk about this almost daily. There are times when it's frustrating, but it's almost becoming embarrassing. It's embarrassing that people actually think Halloween Ends is as bad as they claim. They clearly just don't get it. And that's fine, but the movie shouldn't be blamed for that. At the same time, they treat Terrifier 2 like this shiny new ball. It's all style and no real coherent substance. It's nice to look at and fun to watch, and those are good things. But Halloween Ends, in comparison, has so much more to offer. Are people really just that impressed with the gory kills in Terrifier 2? I guess it makes sense, since a lot of those same people complain about Halloween Ends not being one long, drawn-out battle between Michael and Laurie. They want to see the same things over and over again. Is that what it is? Do people just not like originality? And if that is what it is, both films make an attempt at originality, so that still wouldn't make sense. Now, don't get me wrong, I obviously enjoy both of these films. That's why I own both of them. But I enjoy Halloween Ends a great deal more. I'm not saying everyone has to agree. It's fine if you prefer Terrifier 2. But if you're one of those people who overrates Terrifier 2 as a masterpiece, while at the same time over-hating Halloween Ends, that's just silly. I'm in the other boat with this. I think Halloween Ends is the masterpiece, but that doesn't mean I hate Terrifier 2. I like them both. I'd really like to have this conversation, though. If you truly are one of those people who believes Terrifier 2 is one of, if not the best horror film of the year, and Halloween Ends is one of the worst, comment below and tell me why. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and, be kind, subscribe.